Hello everyone, welcome back to the Kirklees Podcast. In today's episode, we discuss guitar straps, pinching artificial harmonics, and the perfect driving song. Stick around, it's going to be a good one. Hello everyone, welcome back to the Kirklees Podcast, episode 11. How you doing, George?
Not so bad, James. How are you?
Yeah, I'm good, thank you. Was this week a rock or a roll?
Or a Rolling Stone was the middle ground, wasn't
it?
Stroll.
Definitely
a rock this week, another rock. So this time, I mentioned it last week, but this time last week I went to watch the Pink Floyd Pompeii film at the Odeon in Huddersfield, which is the local big, if you want to see a film in IMAX, that's where you go. It's essentially an album, but in a film. Right. Now, being Pink Floyd, there's only 4 songs in an album, but you're still there an hour and a half because all the songs are 12 minutes long. But yeah, really good. Nice to see it remastered because you can watch everything on YouTube, but everything's been recolor graded. The sound's been done.
Right.
And it was loud. In the cinema, usually it's a bit loud, but everything was just sort of kissing your eardrums. It was that loud. But it was nice because you see them squabbling about the song with these incredible surroundings, with all the ancient ruins, and then the bass suddenly starts slapping, he's cranking the delay up, and it was a real muso film because they experiment with all the modular synths.
Oh, right, okay.
And stuff like that.
I don't know anything about Pink Floyd really, other than sort of the
Comfortably Numb.
All the hits. But yeah, I definitely. I'll say that I will. I probably won't get around to it, but I should check. That out.
It's not my scene, the modular stuff, because it's a big box and he's plugging cables and it's going wibbly wobbly Doctor Who noises. And then I put some fresh strings on my acoustic because I've got a gig on Saturday. But just before I did, I dropped the strings from E standard to C sharp standard.
So that's
mega
three.
low.
That's three frets different.
Down. Yeah. And wow, every string gets really loose. If you ever see a guitar recorded in the sun outside, all the strings go floppy, like a horse's mouth. They get like that just normally. And Stevie Ray Vaughan had nothing on me. Yeah. It felt like anyway, because all the everything gets looser, you can play quicker, and it just sounds really mean and swampy.
Excellent.
Yeah. What about you? Are we rocking or rolling?
I'm going to say rock.
Cool.
But it started off with a little bit of a roll, but the week has incrementally got better since then.
That's nice.
So I mention them probably in every podcast. I'm a big fan of what they do. The That Pedal Show.
Yes.
So they do experience days where every couple of months they issue some tickets where you can essentially go down to the film set and spend a day there.
Oh, wow, okay.
And they've got a full kind of day of activities and things that you can do, and there's 6 places on these courses. Now, I'd floated this with George last week saying, how good would it be if we went down on sort of a bit of a school field trip down there? And you weren't too bothered
there's
about
school
it,
trips, and then there's to a museum,
yeah,
price-wise, and then there's school trips to Alcatraz. They were bare spenny, as I believe people would say.
Yeah, they weren't cheap, but I thought that was worth it. Well, anyway, I tried to book some tickets for it, and unfortunately, they'd all sold out, and I didn't get them. So I was sat there with the bank card in hand, ready to sort of. The tickets came out at 9 p.m.
Yeah,
I'd finally got through the checkout at 3 minutes past 9, and they'd all gone.
All gone.
Yeah. So, and it wasn't just for one day; it was three months worth of dates. So, so that had been 18 tickets doesn't sound a lot, but for how much there
500,000
were
subscribers, they've got something like that.
But also for how much those tickets were as well, they weren't cheap. I still think it was worth the money, but it's not 30 quid; it's 10 times that. Yeah. I was quite surprised in how quick they went, but I'll try again next time, and hopefully the channel's a lot bigger, and we can kind of maybe we can get them in for a podcast. That'd be
because they are big, those guys.
Yeah. So yeah, that was a bit there, but I'm over it now. That was a couple of days ago, and then yesterday we've had some katanas delivered.
Yeah. So
the lovely people at Boss, we've been talking backwards and forwards on the emailing backwards and forwards. Explained what we do and how much sort of as audience enjoy what we do and how many Boss products we use.
Yes.
And they loaned us some amplifiers for the podcast.
Absolutely.
So thank you very much, Boss. Next week, we will be doing a deep dive for the podcast on the katanas. A lot of people have them but don't know how to use them, so we're going to try and come up with are offering and sort of put it into plain English how to get the most out of it.
Yeah,
So
definitely.
I'm really excited for that.
Yeah, it'll be a good one next week.
Excellent. What's on the agenda for this week then?
So our set list for this week, we're going neck deep first of all, of course. We have guitar straps on the set today. Again, we like to try and focus on mundane things that we use every day and sort of deep dive into what they are, how to use them, how you're not using them correctly, perhaps accessories, that sort of thing. We then got a technical focus. We're looking at harmonics. So I flirted with this in episode 10 with No More Tears, pinch harmonics. But you also get artificial harmonics. So we'll look at those, how to, when to use them, that sort of thing. You know the drill if you're a regular. We then got Tone Talk. We're talking about driving playlists. It's getting sunny. We're not in the hoodies anymore. The heaters are off. You like to roll the windows down, put a good song on, good road. If you're that way inclined, if car's just A to B, then carry on making your tea while you're listening. But otherwise, we're talking about driving songs. We then got Pick Our Brains. We've got an audience question, as always. And then we're going to conclude it with our jam.
Excellent. Right then, so guitar straps. I'll back this one to you first then, George. So what are some of the sort of most common mistakes that you see a student, when a new student comes in, sits down and they've got the lovely new guitar and new strap and everything's fresh, and what's your advice?
Students come in with a new guitar they've got for Christmas or a birthday, say, it's the nasty black vinyl strap that's come with the guitar.
Yep.
And, it'll do the job. Now, when you're sitting down, you don't really need it unless you're using it for weight distribution But yeah, it's the nasty one. Other thing with that, if I go to my personal camera, see my strap is nice. No, it's not as in the strap, but as in it's not tangled. I see so often a strap that's like this and all wrapped. It's like cable spaghetti.
And then they say my shoulder hurts, and it's like, because you've got a knot of a strap.
Yeah, you've got a knot of a strap, and by doing that, they haven't done it intentionally. The devil comes and does it, I'm convinced. But you're limiting the amount of space that you've got. If you have, say, 12 inches of space on this strap, by having it all tangled, you've now got 8 or 9.
Yeah, you might lose a few.
You're losing a bit. Something that you'll come on to, but strap locks as well. People don't use strap locks, which kind of guilty of. But yeah, the main things I see from your question are nasty, cheap straps that come with the guitar or come... We always get free stuff. Buy a set of strings, you get a free pick. Buy a capo, you get a sticker. Buy a guitar, you get a strap. So tangled and cheap.
Okay, so let's just pull that thread of cheap straps even more. Now, I've played guitar for a long time and I'm blessed to have the collection that I've got, but I say this all the time. I think I even said it in last week's episode.
You're going on about tyres?
Tyres, correct, yeah. We were talking about gig bags and cases, weren't we? Well, straps are no exception. Now, we talk about these cheap, nasty straps that sort of... You say they made a nylon or something like that. They're kind of
like a really cheap material.
Yeah.
And then they've got a really horrible vinyl bit that attaches to the guitar, which splits inevitably.
But I find as well, I don't know about any of you watching, let us know in the comments. When I use those cheap straps, they rub against the side of my neck, and they can make you quite sore.
Because there's loads of, or lack of, but they just flex to your body. They don't stay straight.
But also, they've got like the woven out there, and the woven with quite harsh material, and that's obviously to stop it slipping. But then that's almost like grating against your neck. So I don't like those for that reason. And a strap should be the placement of a strap. Now, it all depends on your composition and how you are. I'm quite a tall dude. I mean, are you 6 foot?
I'm 6 foot.
Are you 6 foot? Just 6 foot. It depends on your composition. Now, my strap is a little bit lower than I'd probably advise most people wear.
Yeah, when I play your guitars with a strap, I look like a Green Day tribute.
Yeah, it's
by my knees
down on the floor. Now, in theory, the sage advice is that your strap should be sort of how it's sat on your knee. If I was to stand up now, it would stay in the same position.
By your ribcage, yeah.
But it must just be I'm either long-bodied or long-legged. I'm not sure which way around it is, or it might be the beer belly. I don't know. We'll see. But it's when I do that, you can see my belt buckle. It just doesn't look right. So I've opted to drop it just a couple of inches. But the way that I play guitar, we've spoken about this before. Sideways. I must wear it on my hip a little bit, and especially with the comfort cut of a Stratocaster, it sort of fits. It just sort of fits me really well there. Now I'm wearing the strap a little bit lower than most people would tell you how to do that. I don't feel like I'm reaching down.
No, it's comfortable. You adapt, yeah.
Whereas you wear your strap quite high, I see from your gig pictures.
I'm not exactly John Lennon. Now,
or Buddy Holly.
Buddy Holly, he was quite normal. Jerry and the Pacemaker, all that sort of Liverpool Mersey beat stuff. They were all up here. Now, the reason being is because they can look at their frets and still smile at the audience. It was a Brian Epstein thing, image. That's why they did it. I sort of play about where I am sat down, to be honest. It doesn't look as cool, but it's comfortable because I can see what I'm playing. I can reach the frets. Now, I used to be a bigger guy years ago, and when I lost a load of weight, I had the guitar a bit lower, and actually, especially on a heavier guitar, it's rubbing on my hip, and it's really, I can feel my bone hitting the guitar, which I found really uncomfortable. So I've raised it ever so slightly. So it is about just a bit higher than where I'd sit down.
So you're actually going the other way then, aren't you? Yours, rather than adding a couple of inches, you're probably subtracting one. Yeah.
Yeah. Now, acoustic doesn't really matter because it's quite lightweight. But if I'm gigging this guitar or a telly, I will have it a little bit higher. I'm sacrificing a bit of street cred because obviously it does look cooler having it a bit lower. But that's just purely comfort. Oh, what's his name from Rage Against the Machine?
Tom Morello.
Tom Morello. He's up there with his telly and his hat on backwards. It's an image thing, definitely, but it should be comfort. That's paramount. If you're playing a local open mic night and you think, oh yeah, I want to impress people with my new Strat or whatever, don't put your guitar too low because you'll find you're straining for the chords if it's lower than you're comfortable with.
And I think the vast majority of us listeners, please do correct us if you're wrong, but like we're out there doing gigs, sort of fighting the good fight, so to speak. For the people sat at home practicing that have no aspirations for doing gigs, why is a strap still important at home to use at home?
Let's say I want to pick just out of shot, there's the guitar stand. Let's say I want to pick this up and I reach towards it. So often my guitar's gone flying because I'm not supporting. There's other reasons why you want to use
just to clarify that because I wasn't quite sure what you were saying there. If you lean forward for something, your guitar's...
Yeah, it's going to go flying. Now, because you've got the strap on, you're fine. I don't have it on, so the guitar is free to move wherever it wants.
Mm-hmm. And I think actually, may I borrow your blue strap for a second?
Yeah, that was a little prop to demonstrate. There's two things I want to talk about.
So I'll undo these strap locks on this strap and we'll come back to this one because I really like
this. Is the reason I was going to bring it up.
Right, okay.
I'm sure you'll find out why I've brought this in a second.
Okay.
Now that's a Fender. For those not watching, this is a Fender strap. Really nice strap, but I won't gig with this one. I mean, I won't put it on a Gibson or a Epiphone product, but you'll see why.
So if you've got your strap on the guitar, I mean, I've got strap locks on this guitar. Now, this is just probably a little bit bigger, than I'd want it to be. But if you've got your guitar and you're struggling to play something, you can tighten your strap a little bit and elevate the neck of the guitar. Is that what you were going for?
Yeah, have anyone just seen that without trying? The strap has fallen off the guitar. Yeah. If you lean down, I've had it so many times with that strap. If I lean down to adjust my pedal or something, off it comes. Mm-hmm. So that strap is exclusively for home. Doesn't go out for that reason, which is why straplocks.
Straplocks are a thing. Just on what I was getting at with that before we move on to straplocks. Quite a lot of people don't feel like the guitar's running away from them. Now, if you wear jeans all the time, it's not too bad. But if you're sort of at home when your comfies on, you've got sort of jogging bottoms or something that's a little bit... I tell you what are even worse for it, like smart work trousers, if you were to, like when I teach in schools or do like suit and tie gigs.
I remember that from college.
And they're really like, your guitar's constantly like trying to run away from you. A strap will help mitigate that and help you sort of keep good posture. Quite a few people in the group talk about playing guitar on the other knee.
We've done that, yeah.
Like this. A strap will aid you sort of from the guitar running away. So it's not just for standing up. It's to aid you. It's to support you in good practice with good posture. And, those of us that are getting on a little bit, which we've got to look forward to, George. I've heard it helps sort of mitigate backache as well.
I must admit, teaching, I sit like a collapsed shrimp when I'm teaching. I think my back is sort of curved over. And at the end of a night, I can
I
really
didn't
feel
think
it.
I was going to hear
No.
collapsed shrimp.
You can
today.
imagine it though.
I can't. I know
Really
exactly what you mean.
lent over.
I
And
know exactly
don't
what
try
you mean.
to, but I'm trying to demonstrate stuff to someone. If I had a strap, it would stop me from leaning over.
Or adjusting an amplifier or
Exactly.
something. Yeah, but there's particularly Trevor in the Facebook group. You know, the dude that plays the Taylor, who posts. He was saying the other day that he exclusively plays stood up now because he just prefers it. You know, and each to their own. You know, when I'm teaching group classes, we've rearranged the live room now, so that group with the addition of the new TV in that room to sort of. I'm now more or less all day. Yesterday I was on my feet because that's it. Rather than sort of peering over people's music stands while I've got 5 guitar players plucking away on something, I can wander around the room. And actually, I think over as you know, people talk about standing desks at work and things like that. I think it's a lot better for you, and it saves me being sat on my backside all day. I think it'd be good for me in the long run. So straplocks. What's a straplock? Now these are Schala straplocks. So a Schala straplock comes in 2 parts. You've got your part that attaches to the strap, and then you've got a button that you actually have to take the old one off your guitar and fix it to your guitar. And it's got a really satisfying.
That'll do.
Bit of ASMR for you. Let's do that again. So this has like a mechanism, and it sounds. That's in there. That's
it's
not
enough
going
that it's making
anywhere.
your strings vibrate.
But what's happened now is that's not going anywhere.
It's just the integrity of the leather that you've got to worry about now, which you'll be fine with.
Which I will be with this strap, and they go on both ways. Now this isn't the only kind of strap lock. This is my preferred method of strap lock.
You get the rubber gaskets almost as well.
Yeah, so those are I forget the technical term for them. They're like a little rubber grommet.
Yeah.
That you put George's straps just attached to his guitar to the conventional strap button that came with the guitar, and there's like a little rubber grommet that you put over that's really difficult to get on.
Yeah.
But then serves as an extra barrier to stop the guitar falling off. Schala straplocks are it's been a while. They're in the region of £30 to £40. They're quite an investment, but
How much is a new Les Paul when you drop it?
correct. If I dropped my Les Paul and broke the head just like I did with the J45, that's a £1,500 mistake. It's not good, right? So it's worth doing. Now I tend to use straplocks on my main gigging guitars, which is my Strat and my Les Paul.
Saying you nice ones.
Yeah, or the ones that I can't afford to drop.
Yeah.
Let's put it that way.
You're not going to want to drop any guitar realistically.
No.
But I get what you mean. When you're out and about, you really don't want that to fall off.
Correct. And I like these Heisterkamp straps. These are a company in Devon. Yeah. All they do is guitar straps and belts. And there's a little team of people, and I think I'm on my 3rd one. And what I tend to do is, like when I bought the Jazzmaster, I put a little bit of money aside when I bought the Jazzmaster to buy a nice strap for it as well that lives in that case. And what I did was, on the website you can sort of choose what leather, what style, what buckles, the different colours. Like it's black and red, the one for the Jazzmaster, which actually I'm gonna demote to the SG.
Okay.
And I think in time, I think a bit of brown leather would work better.
Yeah,
for that sort of vintage 60s kind of vibe that it's going for. So I aspire to have a good quality strap that lives with every guitar, but at sort of between £70 to £100 a piece. They're quite the investment, and I don't.
Yeah.
If for argument's sake, if I've got 15 guitars, that's quite a lot of money in straps. So I'm steadily working my way through it.
See, I used to have a really good strap. I don't use it anymore because it's leather and it's starting to flake. So I'll be covered in little black bits. But it was thinner at the guitar end, but over my shoulder, it was about 2-3 times the thickness to give me more support around the shoulder.
Yep.
Again, just a different style of strap that you can get hold of. Okay. Yeah.
Sorry, I thought you were going to...
There's nothing really.
Right, okay.
Because you mentioned the leather. Now,
Yeah.
these are cloth, cotton. They're not... Well, this has got leather underneath it. But the benefits of leather, it's going to be a bit thicker and more durable and therefore more comfortable.
This strap, I've had this strap... I bought it before I bought the Les Paul. Okay. So it's probably 3 or 4 years I've had this strap now, and I use it every day, and it doesn't look like I've used it every day. It hasn't aged at all. Whereas something like this, I bought 3 of these from Leeds Bradford Guitar Show years ago. When I bought that Seafoam Green Strat, and it was like if you buy 3 straps, they're a tenner each. And I thought, oh, okay, well I could put one in each gig bag, yeah. And it's okay, but bearing in mind, it's probably done the same amount of graft, but just feel that it doesn't feel the same.
No,
it's
got some wear.
It's a bit pleathery, but you get what you pay for. Now, I think you brought something up really, really important there: the width of the strap.
Yeah.
Now, on the Heist Camp website, you can actually dictate what size.
Oh, nice.
What size you want. I opt for the middle one. I think it's 2.5 inches across. Is this one? You can have 3 inches, 2.5 or 2. If you struggle with backache, or it's something you want to be mindful of, get a wider strap, and what that'll do is it'll even...
It spreads the load.
It spreads the load, it's just the physics of it. Now, Gibson do these straps, and there's other companies as well that have the thick strap, but then have almost like like memory foam in it.
La-di-da.
Yeah, which is supposed to be better, and I can see the logic behind it. The people that have bought those kind of straps and used them that come to see me in the studio, yes, they're comfortable. Are they any more comfortable than this? Probably not. But also, they're an absolute pain to store.
Oh, yeah, because they're big.
Because they won't go in a hard case. Yeah, exactly. You can't wrap it up and put it in your gig bag. No. And most decent quality straps, you can't actually put them in a hard case with the guitar. You've got to take them off and find them somewhere. So if you've got this strap that's as thick as a pillow,
where's it going?
Yeah, that's it. Now, if you don't take your guitar out of the house, it's probably not an issue. And the Gibson ones are quite expensive. I think the sort of comparable to what these cost. And I'd also go for something that's made by somebody and you're supporting a little firm.
Yeah, that's nice to know.
So,
yeah.
Right, I think we've exhausted that, haven't
that's
we?
it. I think
we're George. So what's
with that.
next on the agenda?
So our technical focus this week, we're looking at harmonics, pinch versus natural. Now, can I steal the pinch as I've got the humbuckers today?
Okay.
Before we jump into the mechanics of the naturals and whatnot.
Okay.
So I've written down some examples, both Bon Jovi by chance. Dead or Alive has natural harmonics. Well, the solo's got some pinch, but You Give Love a Bad Name has some pinch harmonics. So what that is, we mentioned this the other week, it's where you play the notes with your pick, but just after that, your thumb is going to hit the note, the flesh on your finger. If I just up to one of the presets on these lovely new Katana 50 amps and knock the volume down accordingly, everything gets a bit crunchier. To achieve a pinch harmonic, you want loads of gain. It just helps. You can hear it when there's nothing on. If I turn the volume down and get to my mic, you can probably just about hear... We've still got some volume. There we go. You can just about hear that squeal.
And that sort of like extra noise that you're hearing is the thumb.
Yeah.
In quick succession from the string being plucked, the thumb catches the string, which creates the harmonic.
Now, people view this as being really difficult, and they're fiddly to get. You just have to sit and make lots of scratchy noises until you get them. Just makes it sound more aggressive.
Now, you brought the Les Paul in for a reason, didn't you? Today.
Yeah, it's easier to achieve those pinch harmonics with a fat set of humbucking pickups that are more receptive, more powerful. Don't get me wrong, I've done it on my Strat before. I did it on that white Strat even, thanks to a load of gain. Now, it does come down to technique. Again, I'm 17 years down this. I'd like to think I can achieve a pinch harmonic on an acoustic guitar, but single coils are less appropriate is what I'm going to go for. Now, you're on your neck pickup, so you're not helping yourself, but your bridge, you might be better.
But can you hear how it just doesn't have the same...
gusto?
Correct.
Yeah.
Now, if I was to turn my amplifier up quite a bit more and use quite a lot more gain, I might have a little bit... I might get a little bit closer, but the preferred tool for that is a
something with
humbucking
humbuckers.
pickup. Yeah.
Yeah, you can ZZ Top. There's a lot of cheeky pinch harmonics in like Sharp Dressed Man or Lagrange. Well, to be fair, that beginning bit that's very clean, he's doing them the very ever so slight ones. Now, can you explain what a natural harmonic is?
So a natural harmonic is a think of something like Heart Barracuda
Yeah,
by Heart, right?
lovely.
So you've got
Have you got some, what is it, phase on that, or is it tremolo?
I think it's phaser,
Yeah.
yeah. But you think such a cool sound, including the solo and all that. Now, what we're doing to try and achieve that? Yeah, you've got it.
Bit,
Yeah,
that next
yeah,
bit.
you've got it. What we're doing to achieve that, and you can try this at home. I want you to take take a finger, and I'd like you to press the 12th fret of the high E string. Now, that's the note. If you remove the pressure, so you're not touching the fretboard anymore, you sort of get this dead sound. I've not completely removed my finger from the string, but I'm not pressing down
You're
either.
on the string, you're not on the wood.
What I'd like you to do, while keeping contact with the string but not pressing down too hard, you're just literally kissing the string with your finger. I'd like you to move it to the right, to your right. We're going to move that up just over the fret wire. And this turns into that. Now, if you play over the fret wire on all of those 12th frets, you can hear those reverberations.
Yeah.
Now, I couldn't tell you the exact science behind it. I don't
that's
know.
a good point, because it doesn't work on every fret. You ever found that?
Yes. People who are much smarter than we are.
There's this song, what is it? And it goes, stop here, watch that sound. Everybody knows what's going down.
Yeah.
That's an E and a B. But yeah, it doesn't work on every fret, as you've just
But
demonstrated.
what you can do is somebody like Tommy Emmanuel does this all the time, where you've essentially got to add. It's much deeper than this. Everybody on Reddit's getting cross with us. But you can do this trick 12 frets above wherever you are. So we've just done that on the 12th fret, okay? If I press the 3rd fret of the high E string, but then try and create a harmonic, I've got to get a little bit creative with how I get there. I'm pressing that 3rd fret down. 12, add 12 to that, it's 15.
All right, cool. Not seen that before.
So, Tommy Emmanuel, I'm going to really butcher
He'll be doing
this.
all his shuffle,
Well, have you heard his version of Somewhere Over the Rainbow?
probably, over the years.
Right, okay. So you can take a chord, take an E major chord. I can create the harmonics above it. And then he does what's called harping. So he'll do that note, but then pick another note out of the chord and he'll move through it.
That's lovely, yeah. Especially on a big Martin or something.
It's cool,
That's
isn't it?
cool, that's really cool.
But he does the whole kind of big chord, sort of like chord intro to Somewhere Over the Rainbow like that. Check it out. It's really, really cool.
Will do.
So harmonics are, it's just another tool in your arsenal to get some different sounds. Have you got anything else that you want to add to
the
that?
best place to practice it would be, like you said, the 12th fret on any string. Now, I probably was a bit too aggressive on those, but if you lighten the load,
That's it.
there we go. I was on the wrong fret.
There's
There we
no
go.
kind of, you've got to use your ear for that. You've got to kind of do a little bit of
I
fishing.
can't remember them exactly, but right at the beginning, example I mentioned, Dead or Alive, Bon Jovi, before the there's this. There's a couple of them with without the out-tuned strings, but yeah, they're a really cool thing. They're in songs sneakily, some more explicit than others, but they're a really nice technique and you can achieve them on bass as well if you're brave enough. Oh, Son of a Preacher,
Man.
Yeah. Oh, I'm doing that on Saturday. Don't bring it up.
Now you could go, but it's not what they're doing.
No.
You know? So they sneak the way in and out, but actually some people tune their guitars with harmonics. Have you ever heard somebody doing...
Yes. Yeah.
It's a more, rather than doing the sort of...
A, B, A, B, A, B.
That's how they can do that. So yeah, that's what I've got to bring to the table for harmonics. I don't use it a lot, but it's a cool little tool.
As a guitarist, we're constantly looking for things that sound cool to show off to your mates, and that's one of those things.
Excellent. Right then. So your driving playlist. You're a petrol head.
Petrol head, yeah.
For lack of a better term. George likes
things that
flying around in scrap cars way too fast. God,
I wouldn't say that.
No, I wouldn't. Your scrap cars are much nicer than my scrap cars.
I'm saying that one is off to be welded on Tuesday.
Oh, is it really?
Yeah,
okay.
It's a bit more religious than it should be with being a bit holy.
I don't see the problem, officer. I can see the road just fine, albeit through the floor.
So, driving playlist. As musicians, I've said this before in a podcast, when a new prospective student comes to the school, this is mainly for rhythm, but I say, when you're driving along, do you tap to the steering wheel? That's sort of an indication if you got rhythm or not. Mm-hmm. But are you sort of connecting? Again, it's kind of this big romantic idea. But if you're driving down a night, we've got some lovely roads near where we are in West Yorkshire. But nice road, doesn't matter what car you're in, but nice road, nice weather, cool song on the radio. What songs are being played? Now, Top Gear put together a section of the best driving songs, and it's stuff like Bat Out of Hell, Meatloaf, Don't Stop Me Now, Queen, that kind of thing.
Okay.
Now, I don't know if you put stuff on explicitly for driving or...
I don't particularly have a driving playlist, but I do have songs that I come back to if I'm sort of, it's like sort of, set the scene. You've got a bit of a drive on the way to a gig or whatever. The sun's going down. You've got some, you've got a bit of time. You're on your own. Things like Born to Be Wild is one of my favourites. That's a great driving tune. Fuel by Metallica.
Dangerous when you're on the motorway.
Oh, yeah, and most of these do make me drive a little bit faster than I probably
To be fair, this
should.
was actually my mum that alluded me to this when I was about 7 or 8, as I was starting to play guitar. Poison, Alice Cooper and Highway Star were back-to-back on this CD.
I was listening to Highway Star in the car yesterday and having a great time.
And just that, I actually wrote a piece for Gear News called Cars and Guitars about the relationship between rock music and fast cars. And I said that Highway Star is enough to give you a speeding ticket standing still.
Yeah.
It's that feel.
I've been listening to a lot of Deep Purple this week. The lead
I heard
class,
you tabbing the solo for Smoke on the Water the other day.
Yeah, and it's Smoke on the Water is one of those songs that everybody goes, oh, you learn to play guitar, you learn to play Smoke on the Water, but nobody gets past.
I still can't play the rest of the song. I can just do the riff.
There's
and never
so
learn the rest.
much great stuff in it. You've
What's
got
that. It's a bit of that solo. It's a great song, really good song.
But with the lead class, we were talking about there's a great lick in it that sort of I'd open the class with, and I was like, "What key is this in?" And they're all going, But this is what separates intermediate from advanced guitar players.
Absolutely.
It's quite obviously in G minor, but that opens up the conversation of how you figure it out. And anyway, just to give them the lick as well, there's a great lick. It goes, which it kind of mixes natural minor, Dorian, basically it's throwing everything but the kitchen sink at that solo. But it's a fantastic. I talk about pentatonic sequencing a lot, don't I?
Yeah.
It's that sort of out in the wild. It's really useful. So and because of that, it'll probably land before the podcast airs. But I'm working on a full breakdown for Smoke on the Water. So go and check that out if you want it. Solo and all, we're looking at it all. Brilliant. And sort of trying to keep it as faithful to where Richie's playing it as well.
Did you know that Smoke on the Water is Beethoven's Fifth in reverse?
Is it really?
Yeah, there's a reel on Facebook or a video on YouTube, but it is one of Beethoven's more renowned songs in reverse.
Oh, wow. Okay. Interesting.
Hence why all the fifths and whatnot.
Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, driving back to the driving stuff. Personally, I do have a driving playlist because I'm fortunate to have a few cars lying around, hopefully not rusting away. But if I go on a nice drive, I will put a playlist together. You've got some Motley Crue in there, some AC/DC, some Guns N' Roses. It doesn't all have to be quick driving rock. I've then got some really nice big blues stuff, like some John Mayer.
All right.
Because you mentioned that sun going down kind of thing. You want something to reflect the mood. So yeah, let us know in the comments if you've got a song that you think, yeah, that's going on in the car.
Yeah, let us know. Please do let us know in the comments what driving songs. In fact, I might post it in the Facebook group as well and see what some people are.
I know we've got Feedback Friday, which has gone down a storm.
Feedback Friday's back. Yeah, it's coming. It's happening again this week.
To be honest, by the time this goes out, we'll probably be on 2 or 3 different iterations of that. But yeah, Feedback Friday's been really good on the group.
Excellent. Okay, David brought a question to us.
Yes, my lovely student David.
What songs do you play to switch off and for enjoyment?
Now, this all depends, David, because you asked me this and I said, shh, podcast. I didn't actually shush him. I'm not that abrupt. It depends where you are in your playing, I think. If you're still struggling to get chords together, arguably you're not going to get much enjoyment from playing. I like to, if you can play a song all the way through at full speed, that's what you want to be playing to switch off. Something like, well, Highway Star, Back in Black AC/DC, for example, it's 3 chords and 2 little quick riffs. It's actually really fun to play at full speed because it sounds mean and mega. Or I Predict a Riot, Kaiser Chiefs, something that's low maintenance, low stress, that you can play with the record, bit of distortion on. That's what I play to switch off. Isn't she lovely? Stevie wants something that I know inside out. That's what I'm getting at. Something I can play inside out that I enjoy listening to outside of guitar. That's really important. I didn't want to learn Sultans of Swing for years because to me it was like a magic trick. I didn't want to learn how it was done. And then I needed to learn it for a student. The magic's still there, but I know how it's done now. I will play something that I enjoy listening to outside of guitar on guitar, if that makes sense. So that's what I do, David. I don't know if you have a different approach when you're just wanting to switch off but play guitar to decompress.
Yeah, so mine's very different to probably a lot of people listening, but it's just because of how long I've done it for. So what we tend to do is at home, we try not to have the television on too much because otherwise the children just spend 4 hours a day just doing this, staring at the TV. But what we do instead is we put music on. We've got Spotify on the telly, and we'll put music on and then sort of play with the kids and do whatever. And sometimes we'll just put Spotify generates different playlists for Spotify will generate 6 different playlists based on the repertoire that you listen to. So I'll just pick one of those playlists and I'll just let it play through. But what I'll do actually is I've got my little Yamaha APX in my living room,
which is an acoustic.
Yes, which is an acoustic guitar, and I'll just play along with the songs and the telly. The kids are playing,
trying to work out what key it's in.
And that's it. And I'm almost like, if I don't know how to play that song already, I'm kind of learning on the job how to play it, but in no kind of serious fashion. I'm just kind of messing around with it. It's
noodling without noodling.
Correct.
You're not just mindless pentatonic improvising.
But I'm not conscious of I'm practicing my ear training. I'm practicing this. I'm just playing guitar.
You just have a
out
guitar.
Of curiosity. I'm just messing.
It's like eating chocolate at Christmas. It's just there.
Yeah.
You don't need it. It's just there.
But I think most of us listeners, what I'd recommend that you do is whatever you're working on, keep a secondary folder of what you're working on for repertoire. For things you've conquered, but you would be gutted if you forgot how to play.
Yeah.
And every once in a while, and probably a couple of times a week if you're serious, pick something random out of that folder, put the record on and play it.
Yeah.
And those are designed to be, if you want to play guitar but you don't want to tie your finger in knots and you actually want to have a nice time, that's the stuff that you should be playing. 9 out of 10 guitar players that come to see me initially, when they first get going, they say, I just want to play a couple of chords on the couch. I think that's what they mean.
Yeah, actually. That's what everyone develops.
Play a couple of songs. But so many people are too busy, particularly adults that we teach. They've got the tunnel vision. And they're like, I've got a guitar in mind and I must get better. When actually, so many guitar players I see who are what they're working on with us at the school is absolutely caving their head in. Because all work and no play makes Jack a dull boy. You just want to have, you need to have some sort of release, and actually kind of sometimes everybody needs that, myself included. I can actually get a good noise out of this when I want to.
Yeah.
And don't spend all your time trying to progress constantly.
Well, that's why it doesn't have to be technically advanced. If I play Brown Eyed Girl at full speed, it sounds nice. I'm not stretching myself at all.
Yeah.
And not a lot of players won't be stretching playing Brown Eyed Girl.
Yeah.
They're a year or so down the line. But it still sounds nice and it's still enjoyable. Because, you know, David, we're trying to be Eric Clapton at the minute. We're looking at a lot of Clapton pieces like Autumn Leaves. We've done the solo for that. That's great, but we still need a song, or you need a song that, right, I'm not frantically focusing on the tab. I can still play something else for enjoyment.
Yeah. So that's what I'd say with that. Like, repertoire is really, really, really important, and it's overlooked by 9 out of 10 guitar players that I see. And it's kind of like you work really, really hard to get to the point that you are. Yeah, and just enjoy it. Like, enjoy the fruits of your labour. And it just seems so counterintuitive to me, but I understand people get too busy caught in the rat wheel, don't they?
Yeah.
Of just must get better. And especially if you've got that sort of weekly accountability check where you come to see somebody like us, you want to go, look, I'm practicing, I'm getting better, when actually you need to probably split that 50-50 between looking to get better and then enjoying just playing.
That is a big misconception. Just because you're playing a song that you can play with your eyes closed doesn't mean you're not improving. You're not working on what you want. How do I put this? Just because you're not working on what you think is going to make you better, you're still gaining experience.
And that's the really nuanced stuff, isn't it? Like, you're working on things that it doesn't even occur to you, like timing, panache we was talking about at the beginning of the
Now, what
podcast.
we mean by that, if I play 10...
George said that word earlier, and I like it. I've still no idea what it means, but George said it, and I like the sound of it.
Right, 2 versions. See which one you prefer. Which one has more panache?
The first one.
I'd hope not. Yeah, the first one is more legato. That's the musical term, smooth.
It's nicer to listen to.
I know I've got 2 beats on each chord, but I'm palm muting and then doing an upstroke. Rather than doing 2 beats on every chord. That's how you'd learn it when you first look at it. Once you get it under your fingers, then you add the...
I describe it as finesse.
Finesse, yeah. Panache, finesse, making it sound better. Fab.
Excellent.
Well, that was a good one this week, I think.
Yeah. Let us know if you've got some questions. We're kind of getting a little bit dry on questions, aren't we? So it's probably time to sort of shake the Facebook
We
group
could do
again.
all. Give us some unpopular opinions or something to talk about.
Yeah, if you want us to discuss something, let us know in the comments or post it in the Facebook group. We'd be really, really, really interested to hear what you think, because we're making it for you guys to listen to. So
absolutely, yeah.
Thank you for your continued support. We'll see you next week for episode 12.
12. Yeah.
Right. You going first or am I going first?
You can go first.
Okay.